As the band director of Shiloh Middle School, I really enjoy teaching the students on a daily basis about different life skills, academics, and how important they are, how important it is to further their education, and using music to do this. In terms of concerns of any educational platforms, I would speak about supporting teachers and what they do in the classroom on a daily basis and make sure they have all resources that they need. Halloween is in 3 months. All right? Don't make it spooky. This starts at a major chord. 1, 2, ready, breathe. Saxophones and clarinets, when you go up to from a low note to a high note, it's going to be loud automatically, right? Because you're going from a low pitch to that's science, by the way. High pitches travel faster than low pitches. So you have to back off the sound a little bit. The volume you have to back off on. Right, Kate? Are your feet flat on the floor? Here we go. Start at measure 9. 1, 2, measure 9, and go. Start at measure 9 again. If you have an accidental, raise your hand if you have any accidentals in that. Accidental? What is an accidental? What is an accidental? Accidentals are either sharp, flats, or naturals. Accidentals are not usually in the key signature. Therefore, if you see a sharp sign or a flat sign near any of your notes, that means you have an accidental. Based on that top note, you have one. Right? Do you see it? Not just in measure 9. In the whole exercise. Second clarinet, so you have an accidental? Okay. That's important. Those lines need to be brought out. And we talked about the dee-da-dee-da-dee, right? Second clarinets, tenor sax. That has the crescendo. Can we start at 9 again? 1. This is my favorite chorale. We're going to play this on our Christmas concert. 1, 2, 1, and 2, measure 9, and go. Second clarinet. No, it's first. G, A flat, G, G, crescendo the A. Dee da, dee da, and then get softer. Ignore that crescendo or decrescendo underneath there. Do what I'm saying. I'll be a musician. 9, 1. We good? 9, 1, 2, ready and go. Second clarinets, you cannot let Romaine take lead on the 8th notes in measure 10. 3 and 4 and 1, 2, 3. You gotta help him with that. Raise your hand if you're playing second clarinet. Right. Why do I hear him over all of you? Okay. Yep.
You basically tell us to play loud.
What is a crescendo, Taylor? Romaine, what is a crescendo? The volume goes up, gradually get louder. So follow the line. If the line is going up in pitch, then follow the line in volume. Soft to high, and then back up. I know it's not written. Trust me, I know it's not written. But do what I'm asking you to do. Here we go. 9, ready, breathe. One at a time, please. Play a G. Or excuse me. G. Good. If you can't hear this, you're playing too loud. You're sharp. What do you need to do? That mouthpiece. Think of a pencil sharpener. So you put the octave key down. Page. Sharp. Sharp. Good. Extremely sharp. Like that's a different note. Listen to this. You want just this? Go. Hold up that saxophone. Let me see the mouthpiece. Let me see the mouthpiece. Ooh, that's too far on. Pull that mouthpiece off a little bit. Go. A little bit more. Smidge more. It's almost there. That's it. Flat. Push that mouthpiece on a little bit. Can you all hear this? Can we hear the waves? That's better. Hear how sharp it is? Good. Good. Remain. Play your C. Good. All saxophones. Mr. Buffington, sit down a minute. What? Play soft. If you all can't hear this pitch, you're playing too loud. And it's all the way up. 1, 2, ready, and breathe. One person is sharp in the group. Good.
Sorry.
Make sure all the holes are covered. Good. So, tuning is not something and is something else. Can somebody tell me? I've said it thousands of times. Tuning is a process, not an event. What we just did is an example. However, if you don't work on it on your own, then it's not going to be good. It's going to be the same thing when you walk in here again on Tuesday. Right? Flutes. B flat. A. A. Good. More air. See how sharp that is? Good. 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 Flat. 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 So if you're flat, what do you got to do? Make the instrument sharper by making it longer. Listen to this. Listen. See if you can hear this and tell the difference. It's just a slight difference, right? We tuned to 440 hertz. The sound just travels slower when I do that. All right, here we go. Everybody, concert B flat. 1, 2, 1, and 2, and ready, and go. Can you play your C bass drum next? Excuse me. Did I say C? Yes, your C. One at a time. Sharp. Little flat. So adjust. Now play together. Play together. Go. Do that. Not the same. Play. Let's put it in your octave range. Go. Sharp. That's good. So you were just a tiny bit sharp. Play together. 1, 2, ready, go. Much better. Let's go back to chorale 1. Since that's what key we're in. That's what our ear is tuned to. 1, 2, smooth. Next. 1 breath at the beginning, 1 breath at after measure 4. 1, 2, and ready, and breathe. compare that to what you've been playing. Now percussion, you were not listed on this one for some reason. But in this case, you would fall under the flute part, because you're doubling the flute part. All right, let's try it again. And play with that balance of sound. See, all all we are is a choir broken up into instruments. You see where it says bass, tenor, alto, soprano? Do you see that? Respond, please.
Yes.
Okay, I just need to know that you understand what I'm saying. Bass, tenor, alto, soprano. Bass is the foundation of our band. Without that, we collapse. Who in here is in the foundation? Who's in here is in the second level? Third level? Okay. Now altos, really that should be switched. Altos should be at the top of that list. Then trumpet, then clarinet. Clarinet is a more supporting instrument than alto saxophone. All right? So that's that. Okay, here we go. Posture matters. Where your feet are matters. 1, 2, and ready and breathe. Where are we starting in chorale 5? Okay, that's your mind. Let's play it, please. When I'm tapping out or counting you off, you need to tap your toes to that tempo. I shouldn't have to conduct for you. You're in 8th grade now. That's like holding your hand when we're walking down the hallway. 1, 2, and measure 9. This was composed in 1913, which was when Carl King, he was in his 5th year of composing. Carl King was the conductor of the circus band, one of the first circus, well, the first circus band. And he was a baritone player. That's all you need to know, all right? So where do you think the really fun, hard parts are going to be in this piece? What part? I'm not asking what measures, I'm asking what instrument part. If Carl King, composer, was a euphonium player, which is aka baritone, where's the melody mostly going to fall? And the trombone and baritone and tenor saxophone part is double in this particular piece. All right, we're going to listen to it real quick. Follow your music, please. Pops up.
Good afternoon. First of all, it's an extreme honor to even be nominated for the 2018-19 Teacher of the Year Award here at Shiloh Middle School. Why do I think I should receive such an award? I think a teacher comes into this profession sometimes in the unknowing. And for me, I can honestly tell you, my 5 years that I've been here at Shiloh Middle School, it's been a true rewarding experience. I poured my heart and soul into the job that I do each and every day. I don't care if it means spending 8 hours at school or 12 hours or even 14. That means even working on weekends as well. So I think a huge commitment coming to the teaching profession, one that I'll be honest, when I first started this job, I didn't have that much knowledge of, and now from working in it for the past 5 years, it is an honor and a privilege to be in a profession such as this. So that is one of the main reasons, first of all, that I feel as though I should be our 2018-2019 Teacher of the Year Award. I believe in giving all you possibly can to our youth, and hopefully some of the things that you have attained throughout the years can make them grow as well, not just educationally or academically, but physically, mentally, and challenge them each and every day in the classroom. If I were to receive the award of Teacher of the Year for 2018-2019, one of the things that I would truly love to be is an inspiration to my family, an inspiration to the kids at Shiloh Middle School, because I truly understand the plight of some of the youth, that what they're going through today. I've experienced it myself growing up in a single parent household, having to put myself through college, the military, and law enforcement profession, and even the problems that some of the kids have in today's society, in our school especially, just being able to communicate with them. So the platform that I would use if I was to receive this award is making sure I'm a true inspiration, to these kids, and letting them know that you can achieve anything that you set out to be. To me, that is the most positive, most powerful message you could send a youth. Because let's face it, in the society in which we live in today, our youth are constantly observing you. They're watching you. From the moment you step into the classroom, from the moment you leave the classroom, the things you do while you're in the classroom, the things that you say in the classroom. And I think that is so vital for where I need to be, where they need to be, where you want them to be, especially in the education arena. Good afternoon. First of all, it's an extreme honor to even be nominated for the 2018-19 Teacher of the Year Award here at Shiloh Middle School. Why do I think I should receive such an award? I think a teacher comes into this profession sometimes in the unknowing. And for me, I can honestly tell you, my 5 years that I've been here at Shiloh Middle School, it's been a true rewarding experience. I poured my heart and soul into the job that I do each and every day. I don't care if it means spending 8 hours at school or 12 hours or even 14. That means even working on weekends as well. So I think a huge commitment coming to the teaching profession, one that I'll be honest, when I first started this job, I didn't have that much knowledge of, and now from working in it for the past 5 years, it is an honor and a privilege to be in a profession such as this. So that is one of the main reasons, first of all, that I feel as though I should be our 2018-2019 Teacher of the Year Award. I believe in giving all you possibly can to our youth, and hopefully some of the things that you have attained throughout the years can make them grow as well, not just educationally or academically, but physically, mentally, and challenge them each and every day in the classroom. Toastmasters, which is simply public speaking. We've been doing it for the past couple of weeks. So I'm going to be going around today and asking you guys various questions in regards to what we have been doing throughout the course of the past really 2.5 weeks. Public speaking or Toastmasters, it plays such a vital role in what we're doing in school, in our society, in class, everywhere. Public speaking is one of those tools you'll be able to take from this class and hopefully utilize it anywhere that you may want to. That's how important it is. If you're going on that ever so important job interview, public speaking is so vital in some of the things that you're doing. If you're going to college one day, which I'm sure each and every one of you will, how many of you guys plan on going to college? Outstanding. In order to go to college, there's an interview process, there's tests that you have to take, and there's going to be some public speaking that's going to be involved in that. So what exactly is public speaking? What is public speaking? Shade. Okay, being able to talk around a crowd of people. Anyone else? Very good, Shade. Anybody else? What is public speaking? Ms. Freeman, anything you would like to add with public speaking?
When you're doing public speaking, you have to be confident when you're talking to the crowd.
Yes. China, why is public speaking so important?
I think it's important for like when we get older and we have to do things like what you said, like getting a job or
Yes.
going to college.
Exactly. Please speak loud, guys, when you're talking, okay? Okay, so there's different types of speeches that we're going to be doing in JLC as far as our Toastmasters or public speaking session. One is the informative speech, and we'll talk about that a little bit later on. Two is the persuasive speech, which we have right here, okay? And then, of course, one of the things that you guys will be doing is concentrating on the inspirational speech, okay? Concentrating on the inspirational speech. If at any time I'm going along in today's session, you have any questions for me, just simply raise your hand, and hopefully I'll be able to answer any questions that you may have in regards to public speaking. Okay, but since our persuasive speech is up there, we're going to continue talking about the persuasive speech. Okay, can someone tell me what exactly is a persuasive speech? Ms. Freeman.
A persuasive speech, the purpose of a persuasive speech is to get the audience or whoever you're talking to or whoever's listening to you to be on your side about what you're learning about or talking about.
Exactly. Anyone want to give me an example of a persuasive speech today? Yes. Come on down, Ms. Crockett. Okay. We're not going to speak the entire time. I just simply want you to give us a brief example of what exactly is a persuasive speech. And if you have one already, give us an example of what you have that you want to present to the class.
Okay. Hi, I'm Jaden Crockett, and I'm a student in the GA Leadership Course, and my topic is, should there be transgender restrooms in public buildings?
Turn that mic off. Speak loud, please.
Reasons for transgender restrooms: it would make life easier for certain teens. Also, it's for safety and comfort. It would be help well-being of students. Of June 18th, more than 80% of transgenders claim that they were not safe in the schools. Almost 41% have at least attempted suicide, and 70% have reported access denied, harassment, and assault in public restrooms. Another reason for trans restrooms is discrimination. Personal experience, I once had to walk all the way downstairs from upstairs to get the room, down Main Street into the clinic just to use the restroom. People believe that there are reasons not to, for they believe that sexual predators will take advantage of the transgender restrooms. In conclusion, fighting over transgender restrooms and the two-gender trans kids might stop us from building a better nation and being better as Americans. For these reasons and many more, I believe public buildings such as schools should consider having transgender restrooms.
Okay, outstanding. So her speech was persuading, giving information as well in regards to the utilization of restrooms and who and when should use those restrooms. Outstanding speech, Ms. Crockett. Okay, so our next thing that we're going to talk about, of course, is the informative speech. Okay, the informative speech. Can I get a volunteer to tell me what exactly? Nathan, what is an informative speech?
Informative speech is a speech informing the audience about about something that they're trying to talk about.
Okay, outstanding. Someone else?
The purpose of an informative speech is to share a lot of factual information that you may require to do.
That is exactly right. That is the informative speech. Both of you guys were really good with what exactly is an informative speech. Is there anyone prepared to give me an example of an informative speech today? We've been working on it for a little while, so we will go through it briefly versus using our time. Just simply letting the rest of the class know what exactly is an informative speech and what informative speech that you have prepared for the class today.
My name is Nathan Hernandez, and I attend the 8th grade. I love doing things like this because it gives me confidence. Well, that also helps me because I attend the Shiloh MS course. My subject is drug laws. According to the National Institute of Drug Abuse, once a young person is addicted, his or her brain changes so that drugs are #1 priority. He or she will compulsively seek and use drugs even though doing so brings devastating consequences. Now let's talk about how it affects young people in school. Most likely, they will stop going to school, which means that they won't have an education to go to college, which means they most likely will be homeless or not successful. According to the U.S. News, there are just over 3,000 homeless people in Atlanta, which affects the standard of living, causing for taxes to increase. Drug laws and drug crimes have gotten lots of attention in the past decade. Laws in every state and federal levels prohibit the possession, manufacture, and sale of certain controlled substances, including marijuana, ecstasy, cocaine, and heroin. Some drugs are legal, but it depends for what you're using it for. Like for medicine, marijuana helps alleviate cancer, including nausea. Thank you for listening to my speech. Does anybody have any questions?
Outstanding, good job, good job. So that was a typical example of an informative speech. Okay, so we've covered the persuasive speech. We've covered the informational speech. And our next speech that we're going to start talking about, that you guys are going to be competing, and you will be competing in these type speeches throughout the duration, okay, is the inspirational speech. Can someone give me a definition, first of all, of what is an inspirational speech? Someone prefer those.
An inspirational speech is to motivate or inspire the people who are listening to you with the words that you're using.
Yes, you are exactly right. It is to motivate an audience. Okay, that is the inspirational speech. Now remember one important thing. The inspirational speech doesn't have to be simply on a person. It can be a place, a thing, or just something simply that inspires you or inspires someone to act or to do something. That is the entire purpose of the inspirational speech. Is there anyone prepared today to give me an inspirational speech? Come on down.
My name is Bishop Robinson. I'm currently about to say an inspirational speech, which I never said before. I'm clearly about to talk about inspirational speech that I never spoke about. I'll be the first one to say it. It's called, it's really called Find Myself. Sometimes when I feel by myself, or because ever since I was born, my dad left. I know when people lose their parents, it's an issue for everybody. Sometimes when you feel like you're alone, you have nobody to talk to. That's the thing on me. It's for everybody. So ever since I heard these stories about my father, and I clearly asked myself, what is he like? Who is he? Like, what did he look like? Because I never had the bond with him. I always asked my mom, she always be silent, never say anything. Until years later, where I really believed about my intelligence, I asked her one more time. She told me clearly. She told me what happened, why. Sometimes I feel down. I feel like it's my fault. You know, I feel like it's my fault because I really thought that I'm the one that fucked up my parents. And the rest of my siblings had their parents. So it really had a big, major effect on me. Time again, I try to find myself, find my happiness. Because I've always been a joyful person. I never be angry. I never be sad. I always love to socialize. Okay. As past like 5 or 6 years, I was thinking suicide thoughts. It had me thinking a lot of times like, why I'm here? Why am I here? Sometimes I talk to God and I be like, what's my purpose to be here? Why am I what one of those people? Sometimes I try to talk myself out of this. Anything that really anything that really just hurts my heart. So after past second, third grade, met friends, I couldn't get to find myself. Confidence, because I never let nobody. I never talked to nobody. I was always outside of them. So, really made some friends, which have major impact on me, which is why I'm the person here today. You know, coming around, energetic, happy, you know, always make these ugly faces, like, stuff like that, you know. I was really able to find myself. After I found myself, I began to feel like I'm one of those men. This is the reason why I'm here. Thank you.
Thank you. Let's give him a big hand. Okay, class. So let's give all three speakers a huge hand. All three speakers today. Today is public speaking, right? Public speaking is one of the hardest things that you could possibly do. So I asked myself from time to time, why did I bring Toastmasters for public speaking to Junior Leadership Corps? Because I saw such a vital need for it, for young people to know how to speak, and to speak accurately, concisely, precisely, and to know exactly what they are talking about. That is the importance of public speaking. Public speaking is one of those tools that, again, that you can utilize forever. It is a tool that will never go to waste. It is a tool that will always be used. And I can tell you guys something now. You guys have conquered a fear, because public speaking is a fear. It is a fear not just for young people. It is a fear that most adults have each and every day. Being able to speak in front of a large group of people. That is what public speaking is about. And you guys are there. You're doing an incredible job with what we're doing, although we just started. And it is so difficult sometimes, especially when you have an audience in front of you and all eyes are on you and you're thinking about what you're going to say. You already have it in your mind what you're going to say, but sometimes when you get in front of people, you may lose your train of thought just briefly. And then it all comes back to you. Public speaking is simply a story. It is a story that you are telling. Some of them are very dear and close to your heart. Some of them are very personal. But that is public speaking. We have a couple more weeks of it left, but I can honestly tell you, when you guys are done with this session, you will be really, really good public speakers. That is what I have in store for you over the next really 5 to 6 weeks. That is what Toastmasters is about. So does anyone have any questions for me in regards to the informative speeches, persuasive speeches, or anything like that that you're really unsure of that you would like to ask? Yes. Very good question. The informational speech is something where you are simply informing an audience of something. You are simply informing an audience of something. Okay? You're telling them what is going on or what is about to happen. You are informing them of an act or a situation that you want them to be aware of. That is the informative speech. Okay? The persuasive speech, okay, there are some similarities, but there's also a lot of differences as well. The persuasive speech is you are persuading or motivating an audience to do something. You are telling a story, and hopefully the audience will get the same thing that you are feeling from the story that you are telling. That is the difference. So you have the informative speech and you have the persuasive speech. Especially if an adult wants to inspire young people. You always lead by example in each and everything that you do. That is what inspiration is all about, first and foremost. Leading by example. And an inspirational speech is not all the time looking up to sports athletes and things like that, because to me, are they truly inspiring, right? So we have to talk and think about things like that before we choose who our inspiration is going to be. Hopefully, we have chose our parents or somebody that we know. It could be educators. It could be anyone. Okay, someone that you know if you had an exposure to. It can be a thing. You can actually see a picture of something, like persistence, for example. That is inspiring in itself. Or a purpose. That is inspiring to itself. And of course, one of the things that inspires me is when I look at the flag. That, for me, is my inspiration. Any other questions? Yes.
Have you ever given anybody an inspirational speech that needed it? Like they were traumatized by something?
What was your question
Have
again?
you ever given someone like an inspirational speech that needed it because they were traumatized by something in their life?
Yes, I have. Good question. I've done those actually quite a few times. Okay, in the performance when I was a law enforcement officer, I've always given, and at the time you don't think of them being an inspiration, because sometimes your presence alone can be an inspiration to someone. By you simply walking into a room or a classroom can be an inspiration to someone. I am inspired, believe it or not, by the kids that I see at Shiloh Middle School from day to day. I see you when you come into the schools, I see you when you come in your classrooms, and I am truly inspired when I see some of you guys when I teach this segment of public speaking. I see you guys come in the classroom, you're very nervous, you're fearful, and then after I start talking about it and going through some of the sessions that we do, some of the blocks that we teach in public speaking, and then you get up here and you try it, you're very fearful. I've had some of the most students who had such a huge fear of public speaking, then once they got up here, they turned out to be some of my best speakers in all for public speaking. The ones who are very fearful in the beginning. And once you start doing it, it becomes like a routine. Okay, you have a flow, and it just goes on. Any other questions? Yes, Paul?
What is the icebreaker speech?
The icebreaker speech is simply loosening up the audience. That is the icebreaker speech. And normally when we have Toastmaster sessions or a public speaking session, when you get it started, you may have a lot of students or adults even gathered in a room, and you have someone simply giving an icebreaker speech. They're introducing themselves and simply talking about something randomly. That is typically the icebreaker speech. And of course, within our speech, we have different parts or roles within a speech. Can someone tell me the 3 parts of a speech? Jared?
Introduction, body.
The introduction, the body, and the conclusion. You are exactly right. Can anyone tell me what is the most important part of the introduction, the body, and the conclusion? Kamani?
The body.
The body, okay. Why the body?
Because the body is the meat of the speech. It explains your topic and why, that's the inspirational part.
That is exactly right. But you must make sure you're given a clear introduction to your speech. We know we have the introduction, we know we have the body, and we know we have the conclusion. But one thing that must be done with all 3 parts of those, no matter if it's the inspirational speech or the persuasive speech or the persuasive speech again, or the inspiration, you must have a tie-in with all 3 of them. They must all tie in. The introduction, the body, and the conclusion must all tie in together. So if you're starting out with this certain topic, you must make sure your body is continually talking about the topic as well. And when you conclude, make sure you conclude with a tie-in of the intro and the body. And then you simply end it. But please, make sure when you are concluding that you simply just don't stop and walk away. That is going to conclude today's training for public speaking. You guys have been a wonderful class today, and I'm sure you're going to do it exceptionally well over the next couple of weeks on what we're doing in public speaking. You should all give yourself a big hand for that, please.
I should be chosen as Shiloh's 2018-2019 Teacher of the Year because in my classroom, I offer a high level of instruction. I allow my students to collaborate while I act as a facilitator. I also am able to collaborate within my own team, with my own department, and I also exhibit Shiloh pride consistently. One concern that I have in education is the lack of opportunities students have to read. Not just reading in the classroom, but read things that they enjoy. I would use my platform as Teacher of the Year to collaborate with other people to get a better understanding of what they may be doing to make sure that their students are reading outside of the classroom, and possibly put together a club for students to read for enjoyment here at Shiloh Middle School. So today, everyone has a folder, and I'm just gonna show you, I'm not gonna show you all of them. When you get to your group, you're going to receive chart paper. Everyone has their article inside, okay? Just like yesterday, we looked for certain things. You're gonna look for those things, and you're going to complete your chart based on the information that's on your folder. I will come around with the chart paper. If you need markers, colored pencils, you know I want color added to it. So you read first. You look for relevant details, you look for your claim, you look for any words that are gonna help you with your claim, and then you're going to complete whatever organizer you have. Questions, comments, or concerns. Spread your wings. The timer will be set. We will share these. And of course you are collaborating with each other. All right, setting timer. Step one is reading your article. Yes, you can mark up your text. Absolutely, because that is also giving us information. Go.
Students' work ethic affected by peer groups and society to we should read now because we read text. Specific students who say
Okay, so for you, instead of going to the table, you're going to put it on the chart. Okay, so you just make your graphic organizer according to this, and then complete this part. So leave room at the bottom. All right, yes, Mike.
anybody on this side. I have highlighter this
Instead of highlighting as you go, so that you can see the story, you're gonna create your lab, your chart based on these things. Please place at the bottom and no questions. Yes, sir.
If you need markers or anything, let me know.
You can't hear me. The following article is information of National Public Radio and NPR hosted by Steve and the text is skipped from the original interview segment. Reports of the social pressure students feel to be popular in the school as well as their teachers, suggesting that among teens peer
All right,
pressure
clap once,
and
give me
popularity.
my voice. At this point, we all should have read our first paragraph, okay? There's something in our paragraph that lets us know what the rest of the article is about. What is that going to be called? Our claim. So group one, so far, what is your claim?
That cell phones can be addictive.
Cell phones can be addictive. All right, group two, what is your claim? Did we get to it yet?
So, there is that some students might not be putting their best effort forward for school.
Okay, very good. Group four, what is your claim? Did we get to our claim yet? Help them out, front of group three, what is your claim? Did you all get there yet? Okay, very good. How can we relate their article, teens spending half of their time online, and the cell phones article? How can we make that connection, Mason?
Okay, so since they're both electronic, and they're talking about overuse of the electronic, they could relate by that.
Okay, and then when we come to your groups, how can we pull yours in?
We could pull in the phones with how student work ethic is affected by peer pressure.
Okay, very good. So do we see how all of these articles have made some type of connection? Everyone should have their claim. Now you're using your claim to find or support your claim with the relevant evidence inside of the text. Go.
Our claim would be in here. Peer pressure have significant effects on them. Teachers can become frustrated when students don't seem to try hard when it comes to schoolwork. There's surprising explanations of why some students might not be putting the right effort for Stephen's skin. We have researched this one on
If you don't notice the counterclaim, then you create what could they have said in the article that it included an opposing view. And then finally, this group saying that
or know what they stop students from succeeding in
opposing view.
to make more precise it is what causes students to stop themselves. Students get frustrated this student points to a reason why that may be a PR social science correspondent took our Sankar is with us to talk about in high Sankar. Steve. Okay, so what's the research? Well, the research is that I a new look what I do even that I get is peer pressure. There's a research that shows that students definitely affected their peers, and if peer pressure can impair them from not motivated students take especially the way researchers tested said that Leonardo at UCLA and Robert
Now, for this one, you should be at the bottom of our search on your work, so that when you put it on your chart, you already have it. Especially for this one. We already said,
That's exactly right.
that is what
The
you're
researchers try to establish is that they offer you, excuse me, you want to start circling those words, right? Because when you put it on your chart, you want to already have it. You don't have to go back and look at the chart. Words like to help us support and words like to help us with so one of the things that researchers try to establish is that they offer these courses even and what they found is that students will know what the course is for the business and workforce when the students will be
they went into four low-income, they went to four low-income LA schools and offered 11 attendance assistant-free SAT prep courses.
Okay, groups, let's pause. Let's bring it back together again. By now, we should have have an overall idea of what our article is talking about. So we're gonna go around and just share briefly with our class what the article is about. Let's start with group 2. So far, what is your article talking about?
Just talking about why students don't why students don't put their best foot forward.
Why they don't put their best foot forward. Add to that. Group. Think about the title. Think about the things they included.
The article is started by saying that kids are putting other kids in front of their grades because they want to be popular.
Okay, and then group 5. Add to that.
They're talking about how students do different things according to what their peer performance is.
Okay, so good job. The group that has the one on peer pressure, do we agree?
Yes.
Are we agreeing with that so far? Okay, good. Group 4, what is yours about so far?
It's mainly about how, the amount of likes you get determine if you want to like another post.
Okay, add to that.
People's behavior on social media can affect your behavior.
Okay, so their behavior can affect yours. Do we agree with this article so far? Group 4 is in front of group 3? We do? Okay, and then finally, group 1.
That cell phone users have extreme symptoms instead of a drug addict.
Okay, do we agree with that? Cell phone users have the same addiction. As they're comparing it to someone, we agree? We all agree with that. So we can't put down our phones if someone asks you to? For an extended period of time? Okay, very good. All right, continue. When we get to 15, we should be working on our charts and done reading.
Exactly, now there was a catch in the way that they conducted the study by going into these schools at random times. They sometimes caught students sitting in honors classes, and sometimes they caught them sitting in non-honors classes. Says that when students were sitting in the honor classes among peers who were more high performing, they were more likely to sign up for the SAT prep course. But when they were sitting in the non-honors classes among lower performing peers, something else happened. When they believe that could be a circle supporting students.
How big the audience was, they also came down in the field for how popular and were able to decide for themselves.
We could use the phones more for.
Exactly.
So what's your
When they believe that the older students will find out about their choice, the sign up goes down by 11% points. Percentage points. So instead of 72 to 61, they drop. Many students are forgetting this opportunity just because they don't want their peers to find out. While so students essentially don't want to be seen as a nerd, or in any case, they don't want to be seen as different than what their peers are doing. That's exactly right. One of the things that the researchers established that they offer these courses either in public or in private in different classes. And what they found was that students sitting
We have someone, a host, we have someone answering. So this is
more
a
likely to sign up for the SAT prep.
Okay, why do you think they decided for this
But
topic?
the sign up was made public, the students wanted to
How much
sign up because they thought they were going to find out. Now, what's interesting
So wouldn't it be more effective if they actually asked the students instead of assuming?
exactly
All
the
right, so
opposite
with
direction
yours,
of honors
go ahead and
classes.
start that
Now,
chart.
students sitting with the high performance students, when the norm was to do exactly, was to do well at
In 4 minutes, we should start working on our chart.
choices public voting.
And you can set it up how you want to
You
do
can sign up for
it.
SAT prep courses to peers that they were attracted to the individual classes. This is confirming the wisdom of scientific outlook
Any one of these most.
how's it set up?
That's really good, Steve. And I mean, you can't make sure tell your kids that your kids are, but I think that the study is 22. It's not good that you might want to be mindful about how you present choices to your kids depending on what peers are around them at that point. Doesn't your pressure work the same on all kids in the classroom? You know that's a really interesting question, Steve, but because very need to find that the fact that that's not the case. These peer pressure effects are starting from experience very loud out being very large drop off in students who care about population obesity, non-honor classes. Okay, and a very small one of people who don't care about population which suggested that peer pressure effects.
All right, group, in 1 minute and 50 seconds, you should be finished reading and starting on your chart.
Opportunities are finding is that when a student cares about popularity, they are massively affected by it. They don't care about popularity, they're really not thinking about it further. And they're able to decide for themselves. Exactly. So what should parents and teachers do with this? Well, I think as you parents need to be keenly aware of how much they make choices. Just to speak. Sometimes it's not necessary to say everyone who wants to go the extra mile in class, put your hand, because sometimes it's better to those students to make those choices in private so they don't feel or distracted by their peers. Popular artists.
They're interviewing make sure you put your title at the top, make your chart. We're not moving it in your class in the room. Office message, relevant because of how many that or opposing view. If they don't have an opposing view, you know you have to create them.
Can you write?
Class, we will share this. 15 minutes.
Everybody can peer pressure. Honors, non-honors.
Let's just do all the tracing again.
The central idea of learning would be students make different academic choices according to the motivation of their peers.
We have a tracing chart.
Students make different academic choices according to the motivation of their peers. So now, therefore,
Make sure you put the title at the top. Title at the top. However y'all wanna do it, it's fine.
But you're right, on your box, like, you know,
So what would we say we put for our word?
we just can't write.
Yeah. Because we need enough space for our time too, so we can't.
Make sure you title each. And cause if a reader's coming to look at it, you will see what you're. Time check, 13 minutes.
Educational decisions.
You've got a lot to do. So, it's right, and keep it moving. And remember, if you need markers, let me know. Let me know. Remember, you should be collaborating. You should be discussing and talking about what the answers are. I know you want it neatly done, but the lines are not the most important part. The content is. But you might see.
Our drinking box.
These words and vocabulary.